self-reliance, self-responsibility. Once again, two very connected things. Our society is built around authority, looking to other people, looking to leaders, asking for permission, saying sorry for the things that I may have done wrong. Right? This is what society has done to us. Beautiful. Now, if we take responsibility for our lives, if we start stopping to rely on everything, right? Being more self-substantiated, sustained. This comes with a lot of things, a lot of different things that you can add to this, but I'm not going to get complicated. It's very simple. When a situation occurs, we need to look here first, right? If we're in a situation that is an obstacle, if we're in a situation that's unknown, if we're in a situation that is uneasy, we're not looking here, right? It's like if you're in a department at work that really dropped the ball, right? Everyone's in the department, everyone's looking at each other who did what, who messed up, right? But no one's coming okay, I'm going to take responsibility for the part that I did, the part that I made the mistake, right? You may have friends like that, you may be like this a lot, where you're taking responsibility, and it may suck in the beginning, right? Because you're taking the heat, you're taking everything, but it's actually so empowering. Because the reason why we get all up in arms and we feel powerless in certain situations is because we're constantly giving power to all of these external things. And it doesn't mean just people, it's situations, all of these things. So, when I go back to the Gaza conflict, you look at war that's occurring, right? You look at war and you say, I'm powerless. How could I ever solve that issue? What is the point of me even thinking of solving that? Well, I broke it down for you. If I start making some changes, and then I inspire Tina to make some changes, and she starts making changes, and then all of a sudden Nikita and Courtney are watching Tina, because I think they like her more than me, and they're getting inspired by that. And all of a sudden you three are now looking, and you're getting inspired, and it's all of a sudden it's at Reina, and now it's full circle. Just from one person making a decision to expand, right? Now think about that. I'm not probably the only one thinking to expand. Maybe Susie in Hong Kong, probably not named Susie, but maybe Susie in Hong Kong, is thinking about expanding as well, and she's making decisions, and now all these different people are making decisions, and what do you know, in 5 years all of a sudden certain wars are handled because people are no longer standing for it because they made changes inside, right? So it's not looking at this constricted view of what am I going to do, what am I going to do here, because it's very selfish to think like that, right? We expand ourselves. We realize in the department at work, if I realize that I can take responsibility first, maybe we'll all take responsibility and the problem will never be caused again. We'll never have that issue again, right? You're no longer relying on leader to tell you, go do this and this and this in the crisis. In the obstacle, these are the 10 steps to follow and overcome the obstacle. Life is not like that, right? Life is not just left brain. So being self-reliant means that in every situation, once again, you can make the decisions that are necessary. You can look at your life, you can look at all the areas of your life, every element of your life that affects you in some way, and you can say, I know that I can make changes in each and every single one of these. It doesn't matter what it is. And if it doesn't directly seem that I can change it, I can't change this person the way they treat me, but however I can change the way I react to them, I can change the time I spend with them, I can change the way that I perceive them even, right? So this is all internal. It's all internal work. It's not external work. There's nothing external you really need to do in these situations. So that reliability is I mean, who would have thought that if we just gave up this idea of always having to ask permission from all of these external things, we can just take the power if we wanted to. Not externally, not telling our boss to F off and say we want to do it our own way, just saying I'll make more changes here, I'll make more kind of adjustments in the way that I perceive things, in the way that I do things, and that may change the way that they're also doing things as well, right? It's kind of that ladder effect, that chain effect, right? Now self-responsibility is basically the exact same thing. It's just this idea of taking responsibility, once again, for that holistic perspective of your life. No one thing is ever out of your control. Nothing. Zero. There's nothing you can bring up in any situation in some form that you can have some sort of power over. And not controlling power, adjustment power, release power, detachment power. So so-and-so is causing you a lot of pain. This person continuously causes you pain. There's no controlling. It's just changing in perception, changing in time, changing in how you allow that aspect to affect here and the emotions that arise within you, right? Now, all of these things, self-confidence, self-trust, self-reliance, self-responsibility, There are aspects of your character that have no limits. Like, there's not a point where, like, I just have enough confidence. Like, I'm good. There's no more confidence I need, right? There's no more responsibility I need to take. That's status quo, right? That's just, like, that's pretty much death, if you want to call it. Because the only time you really should stop growing is when you're dying, right? The idea of slowly dying doesn't really make any sense, because it's like a self-caused pain. You're allowing yourself to slowly just like fall apart and dissipate and sink into like a black hole. I've seen it happen, right, to family members and things, and it's saddening, right? So the way to change this is obviously a black and white society of goal setting, achieving this or that, hot or cold, black or white, success, failure. If we change and erase all of that, so no longer are we saying, I'm achieving this goal over here, I come to this goal, it's now here, I achieve it, now I have to repeat, set the goal, come over here, right? Instead, it doesn't mean goals are bad. They just program you in a way that kind of change things. It's changing the goal-setting mentality to a growth awareness. So I'm going to live a life of growth versus a life of goal-setting and achieving. It's very simple. It's not complex. Goal-setting, I achieve certain external goal. I need to bring that goal towards me in some sense to give me more. Because when I achieve it, it's going to enhance me, right? Thinking that I'm not already enough. I'm not already enhanced myself, right? So it's this illusion we've created. Now, growth is, I'm just always growing. There's nothing outside of it. I'm always growing. But the key with this is I don't need to grow to feel more. I don't need to grow to feel like I am more. I don't need to grow to feel like I'm more accomplished, more extravagant, more loving, more fulfilled. All I need to do is understand that everything I have right now is enough, and that if I realize that in every moment I can expand more. So I could walk up the stairs and I could learn something about myself just walking up the stairs. What could I learn from that? Well, I can learn that if I'm jumping up the stairs and I'm tripping as I'm trying to jump up the stairs and get up quicker, maybe that's an analogy to my life, right? If I'm walking up the stairs and I'm constantly like stubbing my toe on every stair, maybe I'm thinking about like my job at the same time I'm trying to step on the stairs and I'm not present in that moment, right? So this idea that every aspect of your life can be a facilitator of growth and expansion and development, all of a sudden life is a complete like different story. It's a story in itself. But it's just a fantasy world. It's a world of consistent expansion, consistent growth, consistent more fulfillment, like you need anymore. It doesn't really matter. It's a complete change in your paradigm. It's something that if the entire society were to do this tomorrow, everything would change in an instant. No longer will we need to grab at everything. We're already good. However, we know that we can continuously expand, and that's what we're going to do. So when we're cultivating more trust in ourselves, we realize there's no limitation. You know, when we first embark on the personal growth journey, especially in here, because we're in like a gym, lifestyle center setting, you start on the physical journey, and then all of a sudden you start changing your nutrition, you start changing your mindset, you're around better people, you're not watching television as much, you're spending more time outdoors. It's like there's a constant growth, there's a constant expansion. Do you think, for some reason, there's going to be a day, like in maybe 2 weeks, you're going to be like, I'm pretty much done, like I'm good. Like there's nothing else I need to really do. Right? That if your life is like this, then maybe, right? Because you're not allowing your mind to continuously expand. But if you always just focus here, nothing else, just here. When I walk out the door and I'm walking down the street and I say hi to the stranger and we have a good conversation, I can learn something from that. When I go to work, I can do my job, I can learn something from that. When I'm at home with my family, I can learn something from that. Each moment, I'm directly in the moment and I'm learning from it. That's a different perspective. And that's the perspective we should start to sink into more. Not saying goal setting and things are bad, but to say that we need these goals to feel more, or to feel more expensive, or to gain more, that's the illusion. That's a definite illusion. Because you are already everything you need to be. And as soon as you sink out of that, then you're feeling lost. You're feeling I need more. You're feeling I need to buy more things. I need to look better. I need to eat better. I need to go. Just forget all of that. Just understand growth. That's it. Okay? So, with these 4 topics, I'd like you to kind of, over the next week, because we'll recap it next week, we may have a special guest next week as well, but is journaling and meditating on these 4 main things. Self-confidence, self-trust, self-reliance, self-responsibility, and just seeing where you're at. It's not like there's a grading system, even though there kind of is, but it's your own grading system. It's not mine, it's not Susie's, it's not whoever's, it's your own grading system. It's just cultivating and understanding where you're at in each of them. So everything you can cultivate, so when you meditate and you journal self-confidence, where am I at with self-confidence? How self-confident I am? What are situations I need to be more self-confident? What situations am I already self-confident in? Outline it all. Everything that comes, that's all you need. You don't need anything more. That's all you are in that moment. And as you start to meditate a little bit more on those, you'll see them expand. So you do this exercise in a month from now, you'll realize more will come out. More, you'll be able to understand more about it. And it's obviously simple, so we just need to keep it simple.